It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Greetings, NBA fans. Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson, and seated beside me, Kenny the Jet Smith and the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. And the pregame warm-ups are wrapping up out in Houston, where it'll be the Rockets going up against the Philadelphia 76ers. For Philadelphia, they've had a lot of success early on in the season and have been able to string together some excellent games. You'd have to say their overall approach has been well thought out and has been validating those high expectations coming into the season. A few moments here before we start the game, let's talk shooting guards. Kenny, some have said the talent at that position is the weakest it's been in some time. Which young shooting guards do you think are poised to fill that void?
Well,
it's Friday night, and live on 2K Sports, we're going to bring you the NBA in all its excitement. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. And joining us in a bit later from the sidelines, Doris Burke. It's the home of the Rockets as we are live from Houston, Texas. And of course, Corey Brewer. This is their first game without him.
well, as fans, as teammates, there are a lot of people that I'm sure are sad to see him go, given all he brings to the table. But I like what the trade does for him, and I bet it helps them right off the bat. I mean, it also is going to help them long term.
Well, we'll see, because you don't make a change this drastic without having a period of adjustment. So you may be right, but we'll see how long it takes and whether this new look roster can gel.
Look at the 76ers starting group. Corey Brewer is out there with Sanders. Then there's Okafor. Then there's Martin. And it's Cannon in at the point.
Well, you know, Hall of Famer and three-time champion Kevin McHale, the Rockets coach, did nothing but find success and win as a player. And, you know, that's been the same song for him as a coach.
It's Okafor. It's out the key. And Brewer kicks to Sanders. Good ball movement here by the 76ers. And it's Martin missing.
You know, even though he missed that one, great shooters have a way of feeling when they've got enough room to pull the trigger.
No doubt about it. The defense, you can see him exhaling right now. Fortunate that he didn't knock that one down. Well, Merry Christmas. I mean, that was a freebie.
Cannon kicks to Sanders. Okafor sets the pick for Sanders, and it's sent back by Howard. Three-pointer, and it's Martin that time on the assist by Okafor. Martin's got his first 3 points of the game.
A good open look, and he splashes home the three.
Lawson drives in, and the rejection by Sanders. Outside, Martin. Back to Sanders. Feeds it to Cannon. Another three for Philadelphia.
How can you forget about him? I mean, he's not going to miss that open of a look.
The Rockets have gone 3 of 4 from the field to start out the game. Here's Myleague. Excellent D there from Okafor.
Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D, just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
Martin with the bucket.
Great outside shooting fueling this run.
And the D is getting bombarded. They haven't been able to slow them down the least bit.
Now, here's Howard. He had a 21-point outing in their last game against Memphis.
Yeah, but his shot blocking was a factor as well. 3 on the game, just a major presence on the D. And Corey Brewer, guys, out of Florida, remember, won those 2 national championships, teaming up with Joakim Noah and Al Horford. Terrific quickness, and that rangy frame makes him a disruptive defender. Great versatility as well on that end of the floor.
Here's Lawson after the basket by Larry Sanders, and he gets the bucket. Myleague has got his first bucket in this one.
Outstanding entry pass there. He knew exactly where to go with the ball.
Martin goes in at the elbow. Sanders. The Rockets pull it in. Clark, Corey Brewer was the 7th pick in the 2007 draft. He's never really reached that star caliber so many had predicted.
Yeah, you know, his offense has held him back a bit. He's a bit erratic at that end of the floor. Not a great shooter. Slashes effectively well. He's most effective in transition.
Indeed. Good.
Excellent ball movement there, guys.
And that's keyed this run. Passing it with purpose. The D hasn't been able to keep up.
Now, here is Lawson. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Inside, here's Harden. Can't get it to go. Great D that time from Harden. Philadelphia with the ball. They're on a 15-6 run. Cannon from long range. Dwight Howard grabs the board. Rockets trail by 6. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Well, Kevin McHale gave me a few minutes to catch up with him. Coach said that even though this is the first meeting of the year, he didn't expect there to be much of a feeling out period between the teams. He said, listen, we have a group of guys that can all score and do it in a hurry. I expect us to come right at them and test their defense early on. They'll definitely be on the attack, guys.
Okay, Doris, thanks. So they'll be focusing first and foremost on their offense today, guys.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm sure they're not going to ignore their duties at the defensive end, but getting their offense rolling has to be a main concern.
And I think that's exactly the focus. I mean, if they operate as efficiently as they're capable of, defense really won't be as much of an issue because they'll have so many points on the board.
And the Rockets have lost out on some free agent wars the past few years. They have remained competitive, but you wonder what could have been if they led it or kept some of those big names.
And with the Rockets, it's no secret that they take a very analytical approach to team building. Greg, you and I talked about that. Clark, you wonder if that hurts them in free agency.
Well, when your front office makes no qualms about viewing players as simply just assets, it can be a hard sell to a free agent.
Grant, he's checked in for Brewer. And guys, the Sixers drafted Embiid 3rd overall despite a foot injury that would keep him out all of his rookie season. Came to the Sixers with a back issue out of Kansas. Of course, they knew all this going in.
Yeah. And Kevin, the Sixers have made an art here lately of drafting players who aren't immediately eligible to play. 2 years ago it was Nerlens Noel who sat out the season with a knee injury. Last year it was Dario Saric who played overseas, and now Embiid.
Tell you what, they haven't wasted any time getting into the swing of things on the boards.
And even this early, that's a good omen for the rest of the game.
Here's Sampson. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. It's rebounded by Thornton.
You know what? His finishing ability, not really at the level that you would expect from a pro, but he's going to have to start playing with more force.
Makes good on the step-back jumper. Thornton's got his first 2 points of the night.
And the D just a step slow, reacting to the step back.
With 1 on the clock. And head coach Kevin McHale doing well in Houston. He certainly has a fan in his shooting guard, James Harden.
He listens to us, he takes our input and our feedback on games and what do we think and how we feel about certain situations. And he's a player coach. He's played, so he knows the game.
Well, there's no doubt there's great respect that Harden is showing for Coach Kevin McHale, which is what you need sometimes as a coach. You've got to command that respect from your players.
It's kind of like a honeymoon period. When it's clicking, it's like magic, and you just try to keep it going. But it all comes down to the coach listening, sharing, and taking the players' input seriously. Kevin has that instinct, having been around so many great teams.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And guys, what's your take on the 76ers so far?
Just almost an intimidating factor when you're able to go out and consistently come up with the block shots like they have defensively.
Well, what happens is shooters begin to start looking for the shot blockers, and it does intimidate them.
Beverly and Harden, they're the backcourt. Robert Covington out there with Trevor Ariza, and it's Jones in at the 5. That's the 5 for Houston right now.
That's something they need to do more of. Get after it on the glass. Go get those boards.
Clark, it wouldn't hurt. Some extra possessions would definitely help narrow the gap and maybe swing the momentum.
For the Houston Rockets, they come into tonight following a loss to Memphis.
And I don't care how much you grind it out defensively. When you shoot it that poorly, you're going to struggle to win games.
Well, it's not only going to be a struggle, it's going to be virtually impossible if you shoot as poorly as they did.
Here's Grant after the Rockets pick up 3 from the arc. That is good. Grant's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game.
Tit for tat right there, huh, guys?
Didn't take him long at all, fellas, to get those 3 points back.
Beverly wide open, and it's off from three-point range. Philadelphia leading by 6. Sanders with the ball. He's picked up by Ariza. Sanders with the ball. A 23-point game for him in the win against the Celtics in Boston.
Yeah, but he set up shop at the free throw line. I mean, he just could not be defended out on the floor.
Covington's shot is off. Looking at Philadelphia, they took the win in their last game against the Boston Celtics.
Their percentage from long range in that game was off the charts. It seemed like anytime the fans got a little hostile, they just started to take it up a notch from beyond.
The bombs were really falling, weren't they? I mean, great shooting, especially when you consider it was on the road.
That is good.
And guys, the Spurs coaching tree extends pretty far these days. Coach Brett Brown, another former member of the Spurs staff, to be leading an NBA team.
And Philadelphia decides to take their first timeout right here. Well, Greg, for Brett Brown and the Spurs connection, he was an assistant in San Antonio for 7 years, was really indoctrinated into how the Spurs conducted business, Clark, before coming to the 76ers.
Yeah, he's got an interesting accent, too, a mix of Boston Australian from where he grew up and where he spent a lot of time, but no doubting his passion and his coaching ability. He's good in both.
He was actually a head coach for Australia for a while, an international player. Here is Harden. Jahlil Okafor making his last shot. Myleague with it. Now defended by Sanders. The 76ers leading by 6. Brewer with the screen for Sanders. Ariza brings the double. In the corner, it's Martin. No good with the triple. Houston's gone 1 of 2 on three-pointers here in the second quarter so far. The shot's good from Lawson.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agenda.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see that kind of unselfishness. Really hard not to appreciate all the assists they've racked up.
Here is Sanders. Ty Lawson making his last shot. Martin the pass to Sanders. Banked in off the glass. Sanders has got 8 points.
And he came off that screen, and the D just didn't get over the top of it.
Yep, weren't there in time enough to challenge Greg, and when that's the case, you can mark those up for him.
For Philadelphia, they've gone 4 of 7 from the field in this second quarter so far. And he gets it to go. 8 points for Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin. Timeout charge to Houston.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets. Houston making some changes. Howard's checked in for Jones, and it's Thornton in for Trevor Ariza. Then for the 76ers, Landry comes in for Sanders, and Jakar Sampson subbed in for Kevin Martin. Now here's Thornton. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 8 points a game. A shot by Lawson, wide open. The Rockets with another miss.
Well, I tell you what, that's too good a look to pass up there. Even though it didn't go, that's one you got to take.
You know, Clark, the one thing you can say about Ty Lawson is his awareness around the floor. He's just ubiquitous, and his court vision is incredible.
Excellent peripheral vision. He averaged almost 10 assists a game last season. That's the best year of his career thus far. Here's
Sampson looking for his first basket still in this one. And Myleague picks up the foul. That's his first foul.
Man, it's close, but, you know, didn't get on balance quick enough.
Yeah, and as quick as players are at this level, in this day and age, I mean, you've got to be perfect in your anticipation to draw the charge.
Okafor kicks to Landry. 76ers moving the ball around. 5 on the clock. Goes back up. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. It's on Myleague.
And for Ty Lawson, playmaking isn't a concern. He's got that. His shooting accuracy, though, seems to drop every year. In fact, the last 2 years have been the worst of his career.
Yeah, you know, going back to Lawson's declining shooting percentage, really no apparent reason for it. Last year he launched the fewest threes in his past 4 seasons, but he still couldn't find the rhythm, and it really hurt his team down the stretch. Took advantage of some shoddy defense there. They've got to at least get a finger on it.
On the wing, Brewer, guarded by Harden. Pick by Okafor. Cannon kicks to Brewer. Off the pick. The shot is off. The Rockets go the other way with it. Next up for them, the Knicks, a road game in New York. And that'll be the first of a 2-game road trip for them. Pass to Lawson. Jacks up a 3. That doesn't go either for Lawson.
It just hasn't been a very good day for him, guys. They need him to start burying some of those.
And there's the pass to Okafor. Wide open. And he nails the jumper. Okafor's got 6.
He has such a nice touch for a big man.
Yeah, and they've got to figure out a way to get a bigger body on him, because if they don't match up his size, then he's going to continue to work him over the rest of the game.
The Rockets shooting their first free throws of the night. Harden. The first one falls, so it's both teams making substitutions here. Good on both.
He's always been extremely reliable at the line, and today's been no different.
One second left. The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Philadelphia ahead. They're up by 7. And now we'll send it down to Doris Burke, who's standing by courtside.
Thank you, Kevin. Dwight, what's your assessment?
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here alongside Kenny, the Jet Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal. We'll be looking back at the game's first half. For the 76ers, the first quarter was pretty even. They never dug too deep a hole for themselves in the first period. The most they trailed by was 5. Let's start with you, Shaq. What'd you think about the 76ers?
The area where they impressed me the most has been on the boards. When the shot's gone up, everybody goes for it. It's just a matter of maintaining that energy, playing with that same kind of aggression in the final 2 quarters.
And over to Kenny. What did you think about the Rockets?
Well, sometimes you get too comfortable playing at home. This team played tonight like it's no urgency. And now they dug themselves a hole, and the energy level to get out of it is going to be extraordinary. We'll see if they come out of the tunnel with some fire in the second half, because they're going to need it.
And that's it for halftime, as the second half is just about to get underway. See you after the game.
And the third quarter about ready to get underway. One guy who's been getting it done is Kevin Martin.
I tell you what, it's a pleasure to watch him when he's at the helm, because of that first half, offensively, he was in a zone.
It sure is a treat to watch him, guys. I mean, everything's been running through him, and he's doing a fantastic job keeping the offense clicking on all cylinders.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. So on the floor for Philadelphia, they've got Corey Brewer, Okafor out there with Sanders. Then there's Isaiah Cannon, and it's Martin in at the 2 guard.
Well, clearly the 76ers were the youngest team in the league last season, and with all the draft picks they've stockpiled, they'll be the youngest team for a while, it seems. But if the youth can grow and develop, they could also be a force in a few years, too.
And stolen by Howard. Second half rolling along now, about a minute played here. Here's the screen, and it's Ariza in the corner. Oniunas has the open look, nails the wide-open jump shot. Oniunas has got his second bucket of the night. To give you an idea of how young this 76er team is, at one point last season, Greg, Tim Duncan had more seasons played in the NBA than the entire active roster of the 76ers.
That's hard to fathom. I mean, we all know there's this youth movement going on in Philadelphia, but they still need some veterans in that locker room. Very hard for the young players to lead.
Ariza off target from outside.
Hard work on the glass once again, fellas. They put a lot of effort into their rebound.
There's a reason why they have 3 seconds in the lane, and that interior play has made a big difference in this game. And he could be the guy to put this game out of reach.
Rockets trail by 10.
Timeout charge.
Now a timeout called by Houston. And guys, this is the first they're seeing of Philadelphia this year.
Yeah, and they swept this matchup the 2 times they played last year. They held the advantage on paper and on the court.
Yeah, exactly. An interconference matchup here. Not a lot of familiarity, but I wouldn't say they caught them off guard. There's a reason one team was in the playoffs and the other team was watching.
Howard misses.
That's the kind of D you need when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were all over him.
It's stolen by Jones. Leaves it dishes to Lawson. On the wing, Thornton. Back to Jones. And some nice passing there by Houston. And it's slammed in by Howard.
Boy, that's a nice feed by Lawson.
And for Terrence Jones, there's a quiet excitement surrounding him in personnel circles. Last season, he was a much better rim protector, way up in blocks, and his three-point percentage was up as well. So those are the kinds of year 3 improvements that talent evaluators are always looking for, especially when you come into the league as an underclassman.
Here is Brewer, following the score by Houston. 5 to shoot. Okafor sets the pick for Sanders, and he takes that one up and powers it through.
And it was the screen there, guys, that freed him up as he ran his man into it.
And then it was all acceleration, GA, to the bucket right after that.
Almost a backboard breaker.
Well, looking at Terrence Jones, he really has that complete game. His ability to make a play at the rim, hit 35% of his threes. He's a multi-dimensional threat. Long player, well-schooled, falls in line, I think, very well with any good team. In this particular case, with one of the playoff teams in the West.
Yeah, he's one of the more efficient players in the league, over 53% his first 3 seasons. So defenses might want to choose to ignore somebody else.
The 76ers leading by 10. Martin goes in. Sanders high post. There's a good screen. And out of bounds as the Rockets gain possession. And let's look now at which teams have been the hottest offensively for the past 10 games. In second, the Rockets.
Well, this is only a trend over a few games out of a very, very long season. But the coach has got to be pleased that his team has been able to score big with some consistency.
And the Rockets making a change here. Beverly's checked in. Joel Embiid, he's checked in for Philadelphia. Tony Roten comes in for Isaiah Cannon.
And that's the classic 1-2 punch right there. I mean, nice steal. And then how about the elevation, Kevin, on the finish?
And Greg, nothing spurs some quick offense like a great play defensively.
That indicates the importance of great on-the-ball defense, as was displayed right there. Grown man's power flush with the long hang on the rim at the end of it.
Clark, that could be a catalyst for him.
I think you're right.
And we've seen those kinds of plays get them fired up in the past.
Robert Covington's checked in for Trevor Ariza. Then for the 76ers, Jeremy Grant, he's checked in for Brewer. And Jakar Sampson subbed in for Martin.
And the Rockets were a tough team last year, but at times it really felt like a one-man show. Harden carried them so much for so long. You just have to wonder if it wore him out.
Here's Beverly. Another miss by Houston.
Well, they've been better than good on the glass today. There's a glaring discrepancy between these teams in that area of the game.
And it's been the difference. That's what's enabled them to build such a big lead, no doubt about it.
Now here's Roten. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Here's Sanders. Can't hit. Excellent D that time from Jones. And if carrying the team during the regular season or Harden down, Greg, you're talking about, it didn't show that much in the playoffs. Harden was phenomenal, most, if not Clark, all of the postseason.
I would agree with you, but there also were some other guys for Houston that did step up in the postseason. Howard looked as good as he did before all of his injuries, as a case in point.
Montejunas is checked in for Houston. Harden comes in for Marcus Thornton. Carl Landry's checked in for the 76ers. Myleague passes to Beverly to the left side wing. Houston needs to get a shot off. And here's Harden for three. Another miss by Houston.
And he has slipped into a funk, Clark. You can see the confidence is shaken.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's very much deflated. The basket looks a lot smaller to him at this point, and the only way you can get out of it is to work yourself out of it.
16 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. Now here's Sanders. He's guarded closely. So it's Philadelphia now. Here's Sampson. Embiid kicks to Landry. Here's Sanders. No good on that last second attempt. Hello and thanks for joining us, folks. The fourth quarter of play should begin momentarily. Philadelphia leading by 10. Myleague and Howard the post pair. Harden and Ariza filling out the perimeter. And it's Lawson in at the 1 spot. That's the 5 for Houston right now. Martin with the bucket.
This is someone that can really hurt you from long range. He did that to a degree in the first half, and he's doing it now.
Screened by Howard. And stolen by Roten. Harden against Martin. Six to shoot. The 76ers need to get off a shot. Landry no good.
Yeah, great look, but disappointing with a miss.
Boy, what happened on that one, Greg? I mean, that's almost an automatic shot for him.
Now, here is Lawson. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
No question about it, Greg. I mean, a ton of contact and a good call by the officials.
Jones checked in for Houston. And the 76ers also making a change. Cannon's checked in. Like last season, we saw Myleague make some nice strides.
Yeah, a big uptick in his scoring efficiency, Kevin. Both his shooting from beyond the arc and from within the arc increased.
Now here is Martin. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
And Myleague actually showing a newfound post repertoire there. I mean, he's deceptive. He has hooks and pump fakes, little up and unders. The Rockets looked to him for offense when they weren't playing through Harden. And Myleague is a very confident player. I think where he can still improve is his rebounding and defensive impact. With a 7-foot frame, he's got to learn to play like a 7-footer.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Kevin McHale address his team. He doesn't think they've been giving it their all, saying they've been quicker to rebounds, to every loose ball. We gotta wake up. The game's slipping away, and we're letting it happen. We have got to take control of this thing. We'll see if he lit a fire under him, guys.
Martin with the bucket.
He's putting on a commanding performance here. He's hit 2 3-pointers in each half now.
Now here's Lawson. He's tightly guarded. Will not go. This is off the front iron. The 76ers leading by 15. Martin with it. And it's Harden picking him up for 3. And it's Martin missing. Rockets shooting for the game at 42%. Moving it up. And the refs are going to rule that unnecessary contact. It's a flagrant 1 foul.
Boy, a very hard foul that time. And the officials had to slap him with the flagrant. I mean, you can't let him get away with that kind of contact.
Yeah, G, that's an easy call for the officials to make when there's that much contact. The league is really cracking down on those sort of plays. Last season for James Harden was easily his best yet. Finished second in the MVP race. Put up huge numbers with career highs in points per game, scoring. Greg at more than 27 a game.
And also carried that Rockets team that dealt with a plethora of injuries, mainly to Dwight Howard. And second in the league in scoring, I mean, narrowly losing out to Russell Westbrook, who just went on a tremendous tear the second half of the season, and then also finished runner-up in the MVP race.
Now here is Martin, following the miss by Terrence Jones.
You almost have to assume he's going to knock those down when he is that open.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Great ball movement.
And for Harden coming in second in the MVP race, he had a lot of first-place votes, and nobody knew if he or Curry would win the award. In most other seasons, he would have won the MVP.
Larry Sanders is checked in for Carl Landry. On the wing, Brewer. Picked by Okafor. Brewer dishes to Okafor. Martin against Harden. Another miss by Philadelphia.
And for Harden last year, he could have easily have won the MVP, probably would have in other seasons. His big talking point for the award was how he carried the Rockets on his back. And he might have been the most valuable player to his team with the performances he had last year.
Physically, there's no doubt they've been the stronger team. That plus 10 rebound advantage tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, not to mention what it says on the scoreboard. They're really pushing them around, straight bully ball.
His touch has disappeared on him this quarter. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
Lawson kicks to Jones. And the rejection by Sanders. Harden left side. Jones the pass to Lawson. Snatched away. And here's the fast break. Here's Martin. And he floats in for the easy two. Credit the assist on that one.
He is just tearing it up this quarter. That lead's not going anywhere while he's this hot.
Well, the plan has been obvious now, Clark, for a while. The 76ers really loading up on young players, letting them see a lot of minutes, and they're hoping it's going to bear some fruit, as you like to say, coming up.
Exactly, and it will in time because they've accumulated some really nice young talent, Kevin.
Howard's checked in for Terrence Jones. And Philadelphia also making a switch. Joel Embiid, he's checked in for Okafor.
He is just really almost playing for the other team. The shooting has just been poor.
Stolen by Harden. And here we go. Harden heading to the hoop. Good on the shot.
Just a good, solid, aggressive finish there on the break.
Not going to get much easier than that, Greg. Simple.
And with the 76ers, it's not just on the floor that they have stifled the progress. That they've taken 2 top picks knowing they would sit out a full year just to rehab injuries.
And here are the Rockets now. Philadelphia getting their last shot to go.
You know, one thing few people talk about with the Sixers, this plan of building through the draft and with young players, what if it actually works to their benefit? Then it would become a copycat strategy because we know in the NBA, it's a herd mentality if something works.
Just call him the Beard. James Harden, not just iconic, but also entering the conversation for the best player in the NBA. Boy, did they need that rebound. I mean, they have struggled on the boards overall, but still with a chance to win.
Exactly, because they've made enough plays to keep it close. And as a result, they're still in it.
Ronnie with the steal. Harden kicks to Lawson. The shot is off. Now the 76ers take it the other way. The biggest lead of the game, 15 points. And speaking of Harden and being the best, he'd certainly tell you so. He referred to himself as the best all-around player in the league. What do you think?
And I think he's right in that category. A lot of people laughed him off when he said that, but he's been a legitimate MVP candidate. His defense has gotten better, and obviously his offensive game is off the charts.
Well, guys, they came in here and really took charge from the opening tip. This is such a tough thing to do for a visiting team. This contest was played on their turn.
And, you know, that's not the way it usually works in the NBA. It's going to be a great win, and you know it's going to be a happy plane ride out of here, for sure.
Terrific run to seal the deal.
Yeah, and now let's just keep an eye on how much longer they keep the foot on the accelerator.
Here's Howard. Kicks it out to Harden. From past the arc. And Philadelphia grabs the miss. Here's Sanders. That's good. And the 76ers lead by 13.
And after his last game, really not surprised to see him as hot as he is here tonight.
So it's Philadelphia winning this one easily. They came in here and took care of business like they were the home team.
And Kevin, how about the mental toughness that this group showed? They were never rattled at all by the opposing fans.
And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. This is Kevin Harlan saying thank you for tuning in. Now time to head over to the studio where the award-winning Ernie Johnson is with Shaq and Kenny, all standing by. Guys, take it away.
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Kevin, much appreciated, and now let's move on to our Jordan Player of the Game. He led the way tonight with a double-double and was a major reason why they won tonight. His effort and intensity gave them the boost they needed.
Well, his ability to get into the paint, get to the rim was deadly. For a guy who's mainly a perimeter shooter, it was remarkable how many of his points came right at the bucket.
A tremendous night of shooting the basketball for him tonight. He was nearly 60% from the field. Ernie, 60. That's Shaq-like numbers. Okay, that's Kenny Smith-like numbers. I'm telling you, this guy was outstanding. I love the way he shot it all over the place.
And that'll do it for our broadcast tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. For me and Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, have a wonderful evening.